Trump. Slavery is a part of MAGA. Don't erase the glorious shame of America. Let's have some apple pie. Before I continue, I want to give all the honor, glory, and praises to the Most High Yahawah and YAHAWASHI, whom the word ignorantly called Jesus. Double honors to my elders, who are the elders to Israel, great millstone. Single honors to the elect, peace and blessings to the 1/3, and to the confusion of faces in the four corners of the earth, because this is not a black thing, this is a Hebrew Israelite thing. According to prophecy, we will spread all over the world in cargo slave ships. Therefore, we can look like any nation under the earth. So we try the spirit by the spirit. Trump reportedly aims to erase slavery from African American museum. Historians, advocates sound the alarm. This is an article from balleralert.com, and I'm going to get right into it. They want to create a new world order. All right. Remember those terms on the Bible, not the Bible. I'm sorry, on the dollar: Anua Coeptis, Novus Otis Seclorum, Notice Otis Seclorum, New World Order. And I think Anua Coeptis means that the God has favored us. If I'm not mistaken, the Lord is in our favor. So, and that's true. Joel 9:24, the earth is given to the hands of the wicked. I mean, you put your own foot in your mouth, you stumble upon your own tongue, but that just goes to show the Lord ruling the kingdom of man, and the Lord has deceived you into believing that the things you're doing now is because of your own. But anyhow, Isaiah chapter 3, verse 14, I know that whatsoever God doeth, it shall be forever. Nothing can be put to it, nor anything taken from it. And God doeth it, that men should fear before him. Think about when we came out of Egypt and we was at the bottom of Mount Sinai. Moses came down with the commandments. The so-called Negro, Latinos, and Native Americans today, they were the people at the bottom of that mountain. They got the law, statutes, and commandments. You go to Deuteronomy 28 chapter. There's a one specific curse in there that fit a specific people on earth. And they all went through the transatlantic slave trade, so-called Negro, Latinos, and Native Americans. That was written in the book of one of the books of the law. The first 5 books, or was also known as the first 5 books of Moses, also known as the Tanakh, if I'm not mistaken, the Tanakh, right? So you mean to tell me, my apologies, the first 5 books would be the Torah. The remaining books of the Old Testament will be the Tanakh. I had to make sure I get that correctly, right? So in the first 5 books of Moses, also known as the law, the Lord said we will go into slavery by ships. That happened thousands of years ago, right? So everything the Lord spoke about was going to happen. And you want to try and erase that history, you can't. But also the Lord said that those who did it to us, well, what do you think is going to happen to them? But before I put the carriage before the horse, let's get to the article. Critics accuse Trump of rewriting, I'm going to read it verbatim, Black history, but not black with Israelites. Black history as his administration reportedly targets the slavery section of the National Museum of African American History and Culture. Let me show you how spiritual it is that the incense, the hatred, or should I say the contention between the so-called Negro, Latinos, and Native Americans and the so-called Caucasian Europeans people today. It goes back to Jacob and Esau. There are other people, other nations on this earth who are not Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans that are darker than us, and you do not label them black. So we know that this is something that's deeper than just who we are as a people. It's really who we are spiritually. Because externally, other people can resemble who we are, look how we look, have the same complexion, but you can clearly look at them and say they are not the people of the Bible. All right, so it's far more than just a black thing. It's a Hebrew Israelite thing. Okay. So, Donald Trump has stirred nationwide outrage as reports emerge that his administration is attempting to remove or reduce slavery-related content from the National Museum of African American History and Culture. I'm just reading it verbatim, y'all. I'm getting straight to the point. It says the museum's powerful lower-level exhibits guide visitors through 250 years of American slavery. That's why I said slavery is what made America great, sir. Why would you want to erase that? Let's have some apple pie. Let's talk about it. Reason why I put that apple pie part in there, because if you watch the movie Life with Eddie Murphy and Martin Lawrence, Remember he wanted some of that pie? He wanted some of that pie. He said, why can't I have some of that pie? Right over they got some of that pie. And when I think they had him staying on the crate with all them bottles in it or something like that, to the extent. But it's a term called, it's as American as apple pie. American is baseball, right? Right? As American as fireworks on the 4th of July. So slavery is as American as everything I just said. Why would you dare take that out? You ain't going to take American pie out. You ain't going to take baseball out, right? No. So why you want to take slavery out? That's a part of this shameful glory, this shameful glory of America. Or the glorious shame of America. How do you want to put it? Tomato. Why? Let's get back. The museum's powerful lower-level exhibit guide visitors through 250 years of American slavery, followed by Jim Crow laws, the Civil Rights Movement, and major historical milestones like the Montgomery bus boycott. But he wanted to erase that. Ecclesiastes 3:15, that which have been is now, and that which is to be hath already been, and God, his name is YAHAWAH. YAHAWAH requires that which is past. It's kind of like the internet lives forever. Whatever you post on the internet, you can never get it back. So just like these only scams or OnlyFans or lonely fans, I don't care how much you pay somebody to scrub the internet, you're never gonna get it off. Esau, it does not matter how much you try to scrub American history. The world know what you did. That's how closed-minded you are. What about the generations to come? Hell, you can even erase the history. You still show your hatred towards us to this day. What happened with Carmelo Anthony, the brother, the Jake in Texas? That Edomite told him. He said, "Hey, you got to get up. You can't sit here." Technically, he can't sit there, but you know what that's like? Rolls apart. Listen, Tyreek the Sheep. He made a great point. What he pulled to Jake was what they try to pull with Rosa Parks. And y'all make it seem like racism don't exist. Now, everybody got a problem with his reaction, but remember, stand your ground, right? Mike Zimmerman, stand your ground. Right? Remember that? Now, it's a problem. He told her, touch me, see what happened. So he warned him. Well, pride went before destruction. Now he's 6 feet under. So, going back, Ecclesiastes 3:16, and moreover I saw under the sun the place of judgment, that wickedness was there, and the place of righteousness, that iniquity was there. So where does judgment happen? It happens here on earth, under the sun. The Lord said we were going to slavery 2,000 years ago. Lo and behold, today we in slavery. But the Lord also said something else about that. But before I put the carriage before the horse, let's continue to read this article. This isn't the first sign of historical revision under the current administration. A recent change to the National Park Service website quietly removed Harriet Tubman's name. Wow. And replaced references to the Underground Railroad with language focused on black/white cooperation. Why are you ashamed of your patriotism? Huh? Why are you ashamed of how you built America? Why? Critics view this as a sanitized portrayal of U.S. history, designed to avoid the painful realities of racial injustice. Facts. Obadiah 1:10. For thy violence against thy brother Jacob. Who was Jacob's brother? Esau. Esau came out red all over. Caucasian babies, when they come out crying, the baby's red all over. If you want to smack them in the face, on the chest, and the back, you can leave your handprint there because they'll turn red. They get flustered, they blush, they turn red. You notice in some women when they use makeup, they put like rosy cheeks. They call it rosy cheeks because you can see their blood through their epidermis on their skin, their dermis. Their skin is translucent because they lack melanocyte cells, hence melanin, hence what gives us our tanned hue. It's not black, all right? Because East Indian men are darker than Wesley Snipes. Those yogis, those shamans over there, you can look at them and clearly tell they're East Indian, but you never call them black, right? But the fact of the matter is Esau, the so-called white man, woman, and child, are biblical Edomites. They are more closely related to the so-called Negro Latinos and Native Americans than those Africans over there. That's how you people are so lost in this world. Because genetically, the genetic makeup, Jacob and Esau were twins, not identical, but what they call it, fraternal or paternal. One of them, paternal. They were fraternal twins, right? So anyhow, it'll be like giving birth to a son and a daughter the same day. You know, it was just two sons, but they wasn't identical. So Obadiah 1:10, for thy violence against thy brother Jacob, shame shall cover thee, and thou shalt be cut off forever. Now you want to cover the shame. 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 But you are the devil. I'm sorry, you are the father of the devil. John 8:44. He was a what? A murderer. And what else? And a liar from the beginning. What did Cain do to Abel? Slayed his own brother. So once he was a murderer. And then two, he lied to the Lord. Said, am I my brother's keeper? As if the Lord didn't know. He said, your brother's blood screameth, calleth out to me. And the Lord said, you're going to walk around as a vagabond and his curse could be upon you. And then you were like, well, what if someone see me and they slay anyone that touch you? So that curse was what? Leprosy. To not have melanin is a skin disease called leprosy in the Bible. All right? But anyhow, so Obadiah 1:11, in the day that thou stoodest on the other side, in the day that the strangers carried away captive his forces, and foreigners entered into his gates, and cast lots upon Jerusalem, even thou as one of them. And I always use the reference of roots. The truth is never going to change. 1 + 1 can always be 2. So I always use the reference of roots. With the Bendigo tribe in the beginning, you will see Caucasians, Edomites, biblical Edomites, running with Africans, biblical Hamites, together, gathering one other specific group of dark-skinned people known as the Bendigo tribe. So you had Edomites and Hamites coming together to come and gather the Israelites, who will be the Bendigo tribe on the west coast of Africa, and then shipped us all across the world. Hence, also started with Cristobal Colon down in Hispaniola, known as the Dominican Republic in Haiti today. And for those who don't really know, the first slaves of the transatlantic slave trade came from Spain and Portugal. So who did King Ferdinand and Queen Isabella expel from Spain, y'all? I rest my case. Also, do some research. Look up the Kingdom of Benin, Benin, and look up Africa. Look up Africa map, Kingdom of Judah. And it's going to show you, man, all on the West Coast. You can see resemblance of Israel there. It's literally a piece of land on the map that says Kingdom of Judah that date back to like 1700 or something, 1600, if I'm not mistaken. Look up the map called Negro Land. Like, come on. They know who they were taking into captivity. The Lord told us it was going to happen to us 2,000 years earlier. Lo and behold, he is a man of his word. And whatever he says shall be forever. That's what I opened up with. All right. Trump has defended such changes as a way to, quote, remove ideological bias, unquote, and, quote, present a more unifying version of American history, unquote. Unifying? Are you crazy? But many see it as a direct threat to truth and accountability. You damn right. Wait a minute. Lord said, how can two walk together and say they be agreed? What do you mean a more unifying version of American history? American history has always been about separation. Are you serious? So also remove ideological bias. So when blackface at one point was being ideological bias, right? Making fun of our skin, saying that we got fat lips, we monkeys and all this, and right? Lo and behold, the same people that said that say that all mankind evolved from primates. Lo and behold, the same people that made fun of our lips, now they go and get injections. Now they're getting butt implants, getting breast augmentations, right? Because our women are very busty. Going back to the Victorian era, you don't allow those Caucasian women to walk around with those dresses that flared out at the bottom like an umbrella. You know how umbrellas flare out, but it will flare out from their hip on down. Why? To try to resemble the bust that our women had. Man, stop playing. You always envied us, but what it is, you just show hatred towards us. And then they say our skin, we black, dark, porch monkeys and all this and that. Y'all went upon yourself to sit out in the sun at the risk of getting skin cancer just to get a tan. Then you went a little further. Let wintertime come. Well, guess what? You created salon booths. Stop it. Like the scripture say, the truth shall set you free. Once you know the truth, man, they can't hurt you anymore. You can't call me nigger all day. I'll go right to Acts 13:1. Yeah, and y'all worship niggers. Little do you know. Because y'all been taught a lie all the time. Hence, what they call it? Ideological bias. You've been told a lie. If you tell a lie long enough, it's more entertaining. Why would people want to listen to the truth? Right? Obadiah 1:12. But thou shouldest not have looked on the day of thy brother, and the day that he became a stranger. Because we were strangers in the land of Africa, land of Ham. Because our land is what? Israel. But remember, after King and after this mention and his son, Vespasian. After Vespasian and his sons Titus and Domitian, they did a great slaughter to our people. We fled to the northern parts of Africa. We've been there for centuries. Right? And then we fled up into Europe. We've been there for centuries. Vladimir Putin opened up the vaults and showed you the pictures of the people in the Bible, and they were dark skinned. They had silver steels that had dark depictions of us. There's pictures online of the Pope bowing down to the Black Madonna, as you call it. Y'all better stop playing. It's over here in the West where y'all are the fools. Now you want to hide up slavery. Man, stop it. The world already know. The whole world, the scripture says, what nation have not had a hand in our captivity? The whole world had a hand in our captivity. How the hell you think you had centuries of free labor? Because somebody was buying. It's called supply and demand. So, whatever. The whole world is, all y'all going to get it. I'm rooting for Putin though, but all y'all going to get it, man. All right? Going back, Obadiah 1:12. But thou shouldest not have looked on the day of thy brother in the land in the day he became a stranger. Neither shouldest thou have rejoiced over the children of Judah in the day of their destruction. Neither shouldest thou have spoken proudly in the day of distress. Because remember, the northern kingdom was already over here in America during 722 BC. Hence the Aztecs, the Incas, and the Mayans. Remember the Mayan calendar, talking about the end of the world and all that stuff? The fringes that they wear. Even the Mexicans today, they wear ponchos with fringes. I wonder where they came from, right? There's so many aspects of our people that's over here. It's crazy. Look at the Los Lunas stone in Los Lunas, Mexico. 10 commandments written down in Paleo-Hebrew. It's like 1,000 years pre-Columbian era. Huh? They just found Paleo-Hebrew and scriptures written. They found it in Puerto Rico. Like, stop it. Boricua means what? Land of the Lords. Ephraim is the head tribe of the northern kingdom. I don't care what y'all say, man. This is the truth, man. You hate it because you're so accustomed to the lie. Makes you feel comfortable, don't it? So when it speaks about Judah, it's talking about the so-called Negroes, the Haitians, the VI, and the Jamaican. Like that would be Judah, Benjamin, and Levi. Judah, so-called blacks. Levites would be the Haitians, the priests. That's why I talk about voodoo. That would be the left-hand side of the priest. No, we don't. You're supposed to be doing that. That's why they conjurers and can deal with the left-hand side, But anyhow, and so-called Jamaicans and VI, those brothers and everything like that from St. Croix and all that, that would be Banyamin, all right, son of the right, because out of all of the Israelite groups who always like refer to Judah, to Jah, and they say Jah, but it's Jah and everything in the Bible. Always been Benjamin, son of the right, hence son of the right, And then you had Native Americans. When they would when they would chant, they would always say, hi, ya, 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 hi, ya, 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 hi, ya, 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 hi, ya, ya, ya. They saying ya, and they saying ha. Ya, ha. They're just missing the wa. YAHAWAH, YAHAWAH. But they saying ya, they saying hi, ya, 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 hi, ya, ya. So they go back to that curse. Jeremiah 17:4, the Lord said, thou even thyself shalt discontinue from thy heritage. How did we discontinue from our heritage? They whooped it out of us. Your name is no longer Kunta, your name is Toby. It's called them being Americanized. Back during the time they had us in captivity when the Lord was here, it was just called being Hellenized, hence the Greco-Roman Empire. There's nothing new underneath the sun. Read the Rome Treaty. America's Rome all over again. Okay? But nonetheless, you can't erase the past because the Lord required that which is past. So let me close out with one of our template precepts. This is Revelation chapter 13, verse 9 and 10. If any man, matter of fact, Let me go on. This is Revelation 13:9. If any man have an ear, let him hear. He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. He that killeth with the sword, the modern day gun, is the modern day sword. The gun is the modern day sword today. He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. Here is the patience and the faith of the saints. So when y'all be singing that song, oh, when those saints come marching in, oh, when those saints come marching in, I pray I be in that number. No, you don't. Because the saints want what? Revenge. Because the Lord said the saints who are patiently waiting for this, they're waiting for the day when those who led them into captivity shall go into captivity. Understand is what y'all reading? Or do you just sit in there in church all day and just listen to somebody tell you some goobly garbage like Marvin Sapp? Right? And now Trump want him to be a part of his administration because Trump said, that's a man who knows how to get money. All you people are clowns, and I hope you all drown in your misery and also in the lake of fire. The elders been preaching about this for too long. If you don't get aboard, you're just gonna be left behind. So with that being said, I truly pray y'all was edifying, fed, stay in the spirit, don't fear it, just endure it. Ask for forgiveness, pray without ceasing, stay humble, remain diligent. Kwama Sha'Allah, Waflaba Ball, Shalom.